Alrighty everyone, welcome back to the show. As we see Dandis spinning out at the beginning of the, or in the middle I should say, of the second sector. As we are getting underway for qualifying. And there we go. So a couple of people left on track, including Morrow, who has the fastest lap time in this practice session, a 1:41.6.
Green light, give it all you can.
And we are underway for qualifying immediately. Pit lane being very busy as Cabras and Schmid are morphed inside one another. As we now get going, lots of cars leaving the pit lane already. The first of which is Imola. So, to get you up to speed, figuratively and literally, we are at the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari. If my Italian accent is somewhat good, the Italians will have to say and correct me on that. Otherwise known as Imola. Built or opened in 1953. And with a current length of 4.909 kilometers, or just over 3 miles in length, with 19 corners going counterclockwise. Some interesting or iconic sections for this circuit is turns 1 to 3, or technically 3 to 4, depending on the track map that you use. Tamburello was usually just one left-hander, but they made a chicane after Ayrton Senna tragically crashed out. So this is turns 1, 2, 3. Then we get Villeneuve, turns 4 and 5, again a chicane. Flag it to the left, then to the right. They have Tosa with the uphill exit. Very difficult to get it right. It's a long corner. Then quick left-hander on top of the hill. And going back down again to Aqua Minerali, one of the most iconic corners of the circuit, with an uphill exit as well. Then you got the Variante Alta, the chicane, at the beginning of the third sector. You can really get over the curbs, but be careful, because if you get it wrong, you will be spat out and into the barriers. Then last but not least, we have Rivazza. Rivazza 1 and Rivazza 2. The two left-handers, nearly 90-degree corners at the end of the lap. And that is a single lap around the famous Imola circuit. As Omoda puts on pole position for now. Provisionally, as Hammerlund has already beaten it by just shy of 0.2 of a second. Paris now takes it away from Hammerlund with a 150 or 42.912, 300 quicker than Hammerlund's time, but has already been displaced by Moro and Gertz, who have both set faster lap times. Gertz with a 42.5, so already a couple of tenths clear of the rest of the pack. As he's already also 4 tenths up only through the first sector on his time, so we might see some lap times going into the 41s. I think we should be able to see some lap times going into the 41s, as Moro had the fastest lap during practice, which was 41.6, I believe. Ooh, but that's an invalidation for Gertz. Getting a little bit too eager with cutting the chicane and landing themselves an invalid lap time. Nothing major as of yet, as there's still lots of time to set a lap time. But it is a little bit of a shame seeing that they were up for a full second. Meanwhile, Zangari has put his Ferrari on in second place. As I believe there was a bit of a commentator's curse. I think they had a disconnection. That's one of the firsts. As Weatherston now on provisional pole position with a 1 minute 42 seconds and 2 tenths, 202 thousandths of a second. And then letting off the throttle to give way to some cars behind, who are now starting with their lap times. Winters up by 4 tenths of a second, as there's only Rivazza left to manage. Losing a little bit of time through the first one, and even a little bit more through the second one. Still 3 tenths up as they come across the line, and it will get them to 9th position, moving up 3 spots and into the 42s. Hammerlund now with an exactly 1 minute 42.000, currently in second place. And that means that we already have a car in the 41s, and that car would be BX Royal with a 41.665, so 4 tenths away from P2 and over half a second away from P3. That Lexus showing pretty quick times. But with still over half of the qualifying left to go, anything can still change. There's still a lot of time to be gained. as I'm sure we will see possibly into the 41.2s. Good, now all the way down to P7, but nearly a full second up. This would be enough possibly for pole position. Getting a lot of time through first Ravazza, still getting some time on the exit. 1.2 seconds up. This will put him probably in P1 as he comes across the line, and it is indeed P1 with a 141.2, so already in the 41.2s. I think we might, this is a very big might, see a lap time into the 40s. Which would be blisteringly quick. Fitzpatrick now starting their lap. Already got a valid lap time on the board, not unlike last week where we saw a couple of cars not able to get a valid lap time in. Around the circuit it's a little bit easier still. It's a very technical circuit, so invalidations are easy to come by. Caraballo coming out of the pit lane now. Fresh tires, maybe also a little bit less fuel in the car. Means that they will probably be on the quicker side. I'm very curious actually what I would be able to do around this place if I did some practice. I should be able to actually find that. I do know what I can do with a GT4. Which is about 10 seconds slower a lap. So more on their out lap, pushing for 4 quick laps as we near the end of the session. 7 minutes to go. Still all to play for. Let's ride on board with Morrow for this lap. Good speed, good rotation. As we see a stranded car there, they have had an oopsie. That would be black in the BMW. Lot of curve. There we have Fitzpatrick off in the gravel. Also seems like a battlefield out here. People dropping left, right, and center. Just shows you how technical the circuit is. Down by only 600th of a second. Gaining some time back, but then invalidating possibly as they head into Aqua Minerale. Getting some time back. Still not really the time game you would want to see. Over the curbs, straighten up on the exit. Did lose a quarter of a second there. Not the bestest of laps. Ooh, and also a bit deep into Ravazza. Still 3 more flying laps left to go until this session draws to an end. So let's take a quick look at the current packing order. It is Guts from Wilson, then BX Royal. Those two being separated by only 1.5 hundredths or 15 thousandths of a second. Then Zangari and Hamlin only separated by 1/100th of a second, with Glyn following closely behind, only being 400ths back. There's Morrow, Freivogel, who now overtakes Morrow. So it's Freivogel, Morrow, Cabras and Popov making up the top 10. All within a second of Gertz. And all within nearly half a second of P2 placement Weatherston. Then this Schmidt, Paris, Aysen, Morda, Winters, Vente, Turney, Van Eyck, Oliver, Warrior, O'Leary, Bayliss, Caraballo, Fitzpatrick, Maurer, Black and Dandies still yet to make a valid lap time. Oliver there letting some cars go past. As they will now push for another push lap. Or more there in the pit lane. Seemingly has had enough. Turney now. Tiny bit up on their lap time. Losing that on the exits now. Currently in 17th spot. Would like to see that higher possibly. Or possibly, I know for a fact that everyone likes to see that position higher than they currently are. So Turney can make it for another lap though. So they will have 2 more chances of moving up a position. Hamilton has had enough. They're done with qualifying. It will be P5 or worse for them. As Guts is going to smash the provisional pole position time by going to a 141.005, just barely above the 41-second benchmark, but a blisteringly quick lap from the fourth driver. But still with another lap to go. 2/10 up through the first sector. Could still be a 40-second lap time. 1 minute 40 seconds, of course. Two tenths up. Hammering it through Aqua Minerali, bit too deep, losing them 2/10 of a second. Still up by 2/10. In the chicane, nice run through that. Oh, but just invalidated on the exit. Still, I hope they finish off this lap to see what could have been. Also to send out a message to anyone else. Be careful, I'm coming. Ooh, but a bit of a slide. Ooh, there was definitely a 40-second lap time in there. Just not quite able to string it together. Qualifying is now over. We will wait for the cars to finish all their lap times. Fitzpatrick and Winters being the last two that will do so. Fitzpatrick up by 3/10 of a second. As they make their way to the final sector. The final sector being awfully big actually. Not the same as in Formula 1. In Formula 1 the sector split would end here. Winters has abandoned their lap time, going back to the pit lane. As Fitzpatrick is now on their way to an improvement, getting into the 43s hopefully. Oh, but a little bit deep. It's gonna cost them a tenth. And another time a bit too deep still. Getting beautiful speed out of it. 3/10 up. Will put them solidly into the 43s. And will possibly promote them. Yes, to P20. So very well done there for Fitzpatrick to get it up into the top 20. But it was really all about this guy, Gertz, with a 141.005, taking pole position for this round number 7. As we are just waiting for the grid to form. And there we go. 2.5 minutes remaining before we go lights out for the formation lap. So a quick rundown of the grid for you. It is Gertz, then Weatherston, BX Royal, Morrow, Zangari, Glynn, Hammerlund, Freivogel, Cabras and Popov making up the top 10. Then we have Paris, Turney, Schmidt, Aysen, Van Eyck, Winters, Omoda, Venter, Oliver, Fitzpatrick, Caraballo, Warrior, O'Leary, Bayliss, Moore, Black and Dandis. So first of all, with the standings for the gold category, we have BX Royal, then Weatherston, then Mr. Overtaker. who is not currently here with us tonight, so they will lose out on some points. And there's Andy Winters and Paris making up the top 5 in the standings. So Weatherston and BX Royal, currently top 2 in the standings, will have a great shot at extending that gap. It will be an interesting battle between the two of them because they are only separated by a single point. Then we head to silver class, where Glyn is on pole position, but in 8th position in the standing, so they will definitely want to have a good result here. Of course, not being there from the start of the season, still meaning, or not having done all races, still meaning that they have a ways back to fight. Then it is Turney and Eisen making up the top 3 on the grid for silver class, whilst currently in the top 3 we have Oliver, Fitzpatrick and Moorer, who are currently in top 3 of the silver class. So it will be formation lap underway. Everyone gets a little bit of a slow getaway. You definitely want to keep the tires in check for this race, as this will be a bit of a tire eater. It's just a general eater, really, this circuit. Tires, brakes, concentration, energy. It will eat it all. So that's something the drivers should keep in mind throughout this race. Also close or side by side action will be very important for this race. As you can see, there's not a lot of runoff along either side of the circuit, meaning that a mistake going into the grass, getting over the curb, could prove very costly. We will probably see the most moves into Tamburello, the first section of corners around the track, or at the very end nearing Ravazza, if you can get a good run out of Variante Alta. Nearing the end of the formation lap. As the drivers will be instructed to go side by side. To make up the starting formation. Kurtz on the inside for the first corner, but Weatherston alongside in the Lexus could prove to be a difficult situation. Then another Lexus right behind, then it's a Porsche, then it is a Ferrari making up the top 5. Everyone slithering around the final corner in the background there, as we await the green light. And it's go, 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 boogity, boogity, boogity. The line was a bit further down the road than I was remembering. And already we have someone on the grass there. I think that would be Hammerlund as we look in front. Wederson trying to take the lead away from Guts immediately around the outside as we have someone off in the gravel behind. There's a yellow flag, multiple yellow flags down there. As we see lots of cars stranded there, including one facing the wrong way. There's multiple incidents happening. Schmidt being involved in all that. As well as Turney. So lots of stuff happening. Then again another yellow flag. Again cars coming together, including Bayliss. Bayliss and Dundies have come together. So this will be definitely an opening lap for the stewards to take a look at probably. And there's already been quite a lot of stuff happening. Morrow up to P3 now, displacing BX Royal. So one Lexus moving forward, one Lexus moving backwards. It is Weatherston from Kurtz, from Morrow, as we head into the final stages of the first lap. Already top 4 breaking away. Zangari holding up the pack a little bit behind. With Paris, Glynn and Winters all being very close and wanting to improve their position. The Bentley already slotting ahead of Glynn. As we see Andy Winters getting a run on Glynn in the first corner, but was boxed in by Paris in front. Not able to make a move. Had to go early on the brakes as we see Hammerlund behind, trying to make an overtake on Venter up the inside. And Hammerlund is up to 9th place. Displacing Venter for P10 after being in the grass very early on at the start. It will also be a race of not trying to get track limit warnings, as they can be easily received here. Guts had a little run on Weatherston. Weatherston making a mistake into Aqua Minerali. Guts having a half-hearted look into Variante Alta, not managing to really pull it off. Going a bit wide. Would that be a warning? You wouldn't want a warning already 2 laps into this 1 hour race. As behind it has settled down a little bit already, some packs forming, including this one from Fitzpatrick with Warrior and Freivogel just behind. Zangari now a little bit broken away from the 3 cars behind. As Morrow now with the fastest lap of the race, a 42.490. Some clear air definitely doing favors, or as much as clear air goes when you are less than a second behind the car in front of you. Guts with not such a great run through the last corner. Now into Aqua Minerali. Oh, and a slide, big slide from Guts, cutting Aqua Minerali. Having to go a little bit over the gravel. That might be a warning for them. Luckily they did not bin it, as you can also pretty easily do that. Stretching a little bit away through Variante Alta, and BX Royal getting closer to the Porsche. top 4 being very closely matched up until this point. As we have a yellow flag. Oh, and it's Van Eyck and Aysen who have come together by the looks of it. Aysen now trying to get the Mercedes on the main straight. Or straight is more like a bendy bit. Mercedes going for the inside line. Porsche falls to the outside line. Not quite able to pull it off. Fitzpatrick in the background in the McLaren, looking feisty, trying to salvage a move there. And with Warrior also close behind, this could be an intense battle for 12th position, or even 11th position, as Freivogel might draw even closer. Oh, and we have someone off there in the gravel. That is Black. Black has gone off into the grass, I should say. There is no real gravel. Oh, and he has collected someone. That looks to me like some sort of issue there for Black, as there was Morer who got taken out, I believe. They have gotten going again, but that's a big blow to the start of the race. Gertz now having lost quite a lot of time, as BX Royal, where has he gone? To 7th place, so something has happened to BX Royal. Let's quickly take a look at that, as we would like to see just what happened there with the Lexus from BX Royal. So they have overtaken Gertz. Oh, and there was a touch. There was a touch from Gertz on BX Royal. Then, yeah, BX Royal losing it subsequently in Aqua Minerale, and the back being this close to one another, dropping down a couple of positions. Down to 7th place. As we are back to live pictures now. With Wederson now pulling away from Morrow and Gertz behind. This is what Wederson would have wanted. Seeing the guys behind fighting, losing time. Then Morrow making a profit of it, moving themselves up to 2nd place, but in turn losing maybe valuable time to Wederson in front. 2.5 seconds is the gap now, as Wederson sets a new fastest lap of the race to a 1:42.1. Gertz going so much quicker to a 41.6, nearly qualifying pace, and presumably on higher fuel. So he's now a man on a mission, trying to retake that not pole position, yes, but that doesn't mean anything in the race. That first position that he had at the start, but got quickly taken away. Ooh, bit of a slide again for Gertz. Don't want to do that too often. Tires will die up really quickly. Done this leading the rear pack of the field, closely followed by Bayliss and O'Leary. Is Schmidt going to make a move on the Porsche up ahead from Warrior? Into Ravazza, not quite. Oh, but the Porsche goes a little bit deep. Space is given. Is space still given through the second Ravazza corner? And it has been given, and that is Schmidt up to 15th place, which will become 14th as Van Eyck again going for the undercut. Pitting early, or only 10 minutes into the race, and trying to see what they can achieve. Caraballo and Cabras being very close to one another as they go into Tamburello. Porsche going deeper than the Ferrari, but still managing to make the apex, and that is Cabras into P18. Dundee still holding that position ahead of Bayliss and O'Leary. As Vrijvogel now on their own in 11th place. Van Eyck now making it out of pit lane, as there is Gertz and Morrow. Morrow with not such a great exit out of Variante Alta. And the Ford powering past. Now for Gertz it is point to just look ahead. And try to catch up with Weatherston. Three and a half seconds is the gap, which was 4.5 seconds not too long ago. So Gertz definitely gaining positions, or time I should say. Winters and Hammerlund going very close to one another. Two Mustangs duking it out. Both in the gold category, although Winters is ahead currently of Hammerlund by a mere 39.5 points. That being said, Hammerlund wasn't able to do last race, whilst Winters got a podium. So that will explain the points difference. Now there might be a chance for Hammerlund. Switches to the inside line, brakes late but is very narrow, goes in deep, and Winters does a very well executed switchback and retains his 8th position. It was really tight from Hammerlund, going really to the left hand side. You want to open up the corner as much as possible, and that was really it. Good. Now setting sub 42 second lap times all the way through. O'Leary trying to make an overtake on Bayliss, not quite close enough. into Villeneuve. There are not really that many overtaking spots around this circuit. Or you have to be really quickly, or you have to be really confident on the brakes to do it anywhere else than the first corner and possibly the second to last corner. Oliver already made their pit stop as well. You can see the Aston Martin there in the background. Does need to wave past Asen, as blue flags are still a thing in motor racing. Sometimes to the annoyance, sometimes for the better. Ooh, Oliver going deep into turn number 1. Thankfully keeping it on the circuit. Oh, as Paris has a bad exit out of Tosa. That will invite BX Royal up the inside. And taking the place away, although Diddy, as they are still side by side as they head into Aqua Minerale, but now the Lexus is ahead. But was that a track limits violation from the Lexus? They were quite wide. Out of Piratella, the sweeping fast left-hander on top of the hill. Let's see, a 42.3 from Weatherson and a 42.0 from Gert. Another 3/10 gained by Gert on that lap, and 42.8 from Morrow and a 42.9 from Zangari. So top two, they're getting closer whilst the rest of the pack is falling away slightly. Also only 4.7 seconds up the road is Van Eyck, who has already made the pit stop but is gonna get the blue flags when the leaders get close enough. And that could play part in the time gain between the two drivers, or the time lost, depending on who you're looking at. Oh, Winters and Hammerlund going side by side through Tosa. Up the hill now, Winters still ahead of Hammerlund. As you get to Piratella, no move there, or attempted move there from Hammerlund. Has to buy his time. As you need to be really alongside to make it happen through there. Four tenths between the two Ford Mustang drivers. Number 7 against 83. We're just going a little bit deep again. And this could mean that there will be an opportunity for Hammerlund. Trying again. This time picking the outside line early. Nearly getting squeezed into the pit wall. Not quite. Outside line for Hammerlund as they get on the brakes, and it is Winters who holds the inside line and defends the position very well. Hammerlund still not able to pass Winters on circuits. As in the background, I believe there was Freivogel who had a spin, and there Freivogel gets going again. Ooh, that was an annoying incident for them, to say the least. Getting back on the circuit but losing a lot of time in the process. We are 1/3 into this race and already so much has happened with crashes, with incidents, with overtakes or attempted overtakes. As there is a yellow flag ahead, as that is a Ferrari going slowly. There was Dundee's, some dust being kicked up, so out of Villeneuve probably got a bit wide and losing some time because of that. As car 23 has a stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That would be Popov in the Lexus ahead of Paris. And that will be an annoying penalty to say the least. Very long pit lane here at Imola. So a lot of time lost there as well. .7 now the gap between Wenderson and Gertz. Van Eyck already being left behind. Already letting the top two past. Lexus v Ford. I'm interested to see when we will see our first drive-through for track limits. Like I said, we're already a third of the way in. Gertz just hammering the lap times in, keeping the pressure on Weatherston. You might think that there is no real threat as of now, but I can just tell from personal experience, if someone is chasing you, you will have a lot to worry about, even though they are not too close as of yet. Could become a lot closer before you know it. Popov and Venter in the pit lane, one to serve a pit stop and one to serve a penalty. As Van Eyck is now also getting blue flags for the Porsche behind from Morrow. It's not like in F1 where you have to immediately let them past. So I think on the main straight, Van Eyck will probably go off the throttle a little bit and let the Porsche go through. Although 6/10 isn't enough of a gap to really suffice being let through. We'll see what Van Eyck does. Not yet. It then goes deep over the curbs. Oh, and gets tagged by Morrow. Does a quick spin around and rejoins the track safely. That was an annoying incident. Don't really know who's at fault there. I think the blame would be on Van Eyck there, or a racing incident at most. Don't think the stewards will really have a look at that. I think Van Eyck himself will probably be a little bit annoyed with that small but costly incident. Cabros and Warrior still very closely behind one another, with Freifogo and Turning not following that far behind. So Porsche 1, 2, 3, and then a fourth Aston Martin, all in this queue. Just listen to those flat sixes. Such a beautiful sound, not biased at all. Glyn still doing very well in that silver category, holding out in front as Sagari pits for their mandatory pit stop. Like I was saying, Glyn still in the lead of silver class, as we will take a quick look, as Asen is the next best silver place driver on the road, but quite a bit further down the field, around 15 seconds to Glyn. Now we have Warrior behind, who is even further behind Asen. As Warrior very close to being overtaken by Cabras, not quite for now. Three Porsches still very closely matched to one another. Cabras being a little bit checked up on Warrior, and again into Tosa. Porsche had struggling in it, and they let them go. Not sure what that was about. The Warrior letting the two Porsches go. Probably some strategic game that I am too dumb to understand. And now it's up to Cabras to hold that 10th place. As Guts is now in the pit lane, trying to go for an undercut on Weatherston, which could in fact be a good play. Asen now also in the pit lane, Winters as well, so pit lane being very, very busy. Moorer in the pit lane as well, and Schmidt as well. So halfway into the race, or nearly halfway into the race, that means it is pit stop time. Ooh, as Black carrying a lot of damage, especially to the front end of their car. I'm not sure if that happened in the last couple of laps. Popov at least trying to overtake them, which they are allowed to do as long as they can stretch away and not be too much of an inconvenience. More people in the pit lane. I'm interested to know where Black got that damage. As now, oh, the Lexus on the grass. Well held, do not spin out. And Fitzpatrick now trying to go for a move, getting past Black, but in doing so cutting the chicane. I think he needs to give that place back, as the Lexus now also going past Black. It's all kicking off now. McLaren behind, Venter being checked up as well. Nearly spinning out of Tosa. That was really, really close. Fitzpatrick should probably get out of the way now, as there's a fight for position up ahead. And does so now. As there's already Weatherston behind. Leader. As Andy Winters also very close to the back of Fitzpatrick. if I can find them. There we go. Winters getting past as well. Weatherston still needs to pit. So does Hammerlund. And Hammerlund and Winters were very close to one another before the pit stop cycle. And Freivogel and Warrior going very close to one another. And Freivogel coming out on top, and Hammerlund now getting past Freivogel as well. Gertz down to 8th place. But look how busy the pit lane is. Lots of activity there. We have O'Leary, we have Black, we have Morrow, we have Paris. All in the pit lane now. Armada, BX Royal fighting very closely to one another as more people are going into the pit lane. This is a direct fight for position over P9. McLaren against Aston Martin against Lexus. As they come down to the penultimate set of corners. And still the recovery race from BX Royal. Although, having said that, they already made their mandatory pit stop as the McLaren goes very wide out of the final corner. Will compromise their exit. They pull into the pit lane. And BX Royal has gotten past one. And now needs to get past the other one. This time it is the Aston Martin. Pulls out very late. As there is a car exiting the pit lane. Oh, and very close. They nearly touch. As Lexus goes on through. As the Bentley from Paris was in a very inconvenient spot. That was a very hairy moment. Oh, thankfully no one crashed. No one even, I don't think, even made contact throughout all of that. Zangari as well now behind, as it was very close between all those drivers. Weatherston not far behind that group, but a lap ahead, but still yet to make their pit stop. Trying to go very long now. As Hammerlund is now in the pit lane as well, so is Bayliss. So Hammerlund finally decided to go for it. Gertz now up to P3, which will become P2 in just a moment's time, as he will get past Hammerlund, who's in the pit lane now. I'm more interested. Oh, as Black has an incident at Aqua Minerali. We'll try to rejoin the circuit in a safe manner. As the Porsche is flashing from Asen, trying to get past lapped traffic, and does so nicely. Where is Winters? Winters is there. P11 coming onto the main straight now, as Hammerlund is now coming out of the pit lane. So that means that the overcut actually worked, or just Hammerlund was quicker in general. I think it was the latter. 8 seconds is quite a big gap to lose by an undercut, or gain by an overcut. Or letting quicker traffic go past. As Weatherston is finally in the pit lane, so is Dundies. So let's see, only Omoda is yet to make their pit stop. Sangari possibly cannot wait for that to happen. As Imola shouldn't really be there in the first place. Still, it is a strategy. Trying to extend as long as possible. Still, Imola stays out, and it's in all their right to do so. Gabriel's coming up quickly to the back of Black. As Black lifts off the throttle and lets Cabros go past. Omoda with a little bit of a mistake there. Sangari trying to go the long way around, which will turn into the inside for the chicane. Ferrari still holding the inside. Oh, but getting too much curb. And that's what I was talking about. Getting too much curb. It will spit you out. As Sangari beautifully demonstrated there. Nearly running into the side of Glyn on the rejoin. But losing 9 seconds in the process. Very costly mistake. I don't think they actually hit the barriers though, so no damage would have been done. Except maybe for a little bit of flat spotting of the tires. Omoda now finally pits to rub maybe even a little bit of salt into the wound of Sangari. Venter and Schmidt going side by side. Ferrari power versus McLaren power. Schmidt on the inside line for Tamburello. But goes in very deep into that corner, and we'll see the McLaren of Venter fly past again as they rejoin the circuit. As we will have a battle for the lead. As Weatherston still ahead of Guts after completing their mandatory pit stop. As we see that 777, which would be Bayliss, has probably spun out of the chicane. Oliver letting the top two go past. No issue there for the leaders. Still Bayliss still stranded there, and now has returned to the pit lane, being towed there. It will probably be a race ender for them, as I believe they now also retired the car. Yes, they have. So we're down to 26 runners. Kurtz now with a 41.2 as the fastest lap time, which is only 2/10 shy of this pole position time in race trim. That's impressive. Not even on the lowest fuel, probably. or the fuel level that they were on during qualifying. That being said, they were going for a sub 41 second lap time, but invalidated on their last lap. Still, a 41.2 is very quickly, very quick, or much quicker than I could achieve. Maybe maybe I should be able to get into the 42s at least. 41s would be a stretch, I think. Maybe in qualifying trim, but I'm not such a strong qualifier. Well, I don't want to downplay myself, but there are many more guys who are much quicker than me at racing. Wilson holding that gap nicely at around half a second. It is enough of a gap to defend on the main straight. .4 of a second now, as we head into Rivazza. Wilson a little bit on the shallow side, going in a little bit deep as well, and this will probably create a good run for Kurtz. Not the greatest of exits. 2/10 is the gap between the two drivers, the top two. What's Kurtz going to do? He's going to not go for an overtake. Late move, very late move. Almost hitting the rear side of the Lexus. Trying to force a way around the outside then of turn 3. Not gonna happen there. They were not far enough alongside to really be able to stick their nose in. Still applying this pressure will only mean that Weatherston will maybe make a mistake at some point. Just over a quarter of the race remaining, and the battle for the lead probably as intense as it has ever been. Gap grown a little bit to 0.6 of a second now. Wasn't having a slight edge now over Kurtz. Thing is, you need to be hanging really closely throughout the entire lap to have a shot at the end of the lap or the start of the next lap. As now a bit of a mistake from Weatherston into Tosa now. Kurtz trying to get a better drive by going with a different line. Not really able to capitalize on Weatherston's mistake, but still only 2/10 between the two of them as they head into Aqua Minerale. 2 tenths now is the gap from Ford to Mustang. Or Lexus to Mustang, jeez. This could become a very close battle. Into Tamburello. What's going to happen? Mustang trying to go the long way around. Not really an option there, as there's a yellow flag for 2 cars down at Tosa. For car 50 and 52. It has now been cleared almost. As that was Black who has come together with Warrior in the Porsche. Again, a little mistake from Weatherston, and now they will have some lapped traffic ahead of them as well. Be careful with the track limits. It's very easy to get them around here, and last thing you want is a drive-through penalty, which is extremely harsh around this place. Ooh, as the BMW of O'Leary senses in time that there's quicker traffic coming through. Ooh, bit on the wide side out of the final corner from Weatherston. Good, not close enough, I think 3 tenths back. Imola now ahead, and will probably hold them up a little bit through this first set of corners. That is already invited goods, very much in the mix. There's just a little bit of luck of the draw with this type of racing. Goods going a little bit offline there through Villeneuve. Oh, and a big slide from Good through Aqua Minerali. Losing valuable time there. As we are going to peel our eyes away for a little bit, seeing what all the other drivers are up to, like Schmidt and Cabras. Cabras being very close to the back of that blue Ferrari. And I believe they have been for quite a long time. Cabras there going for a move. There is contact made. Still they keep it on the road facing the right direction. Indicators go on for Schmidt. I'm not sure if that's telling like, hey, back off, or hey, I'm sorry. Cabras was trying to be optimistic and go for a move, maybe go for a gap that wasn't there. Maybe it was there but did close very soon. Three tenths the gap between the Porsche and the Ferrari. 10 minutes left to go, which equates to 6 laps remaining, possibly 6. maybe 7. Still all the more chance to make a move. I was thinking of the move, putting the Ferrari under pressure. Oh, there's a little bit of a touch. Cameras flashing, Schmidt showing the blinkers. It's about the most communication you can have inside of a car towards another car. I think they're not all too fond with each other right now. If there was more going through the grass, missing the chicane. Carlos is now closer to the back of that Ferrari. Being fully tucked into the slipstream. Which way is he going to go? Is it left or right? Is it going to be the outside line? Yes, it is. Not quite able to get it alongside. Horrible exit from that Ferrari. Carlos not able to capitalize on that mistake. Ferrari being positioned all over the road, being the widest Ferrari you've ever seen. Still not quite close enough to really draw alongside, and now Freivogel has joined the battle from P13 behind as Moorer is stopped on track at Paratella. As Freivogel goes a little bit wide, seemingly out of the chicane. No real issue there. 2/10 is the gap between the Ferrari and the first Porsche of Cabras, with the second Porsche being a further second behind. Again, the two of them are really close. Maybe not as close as they were last time round. Carlos again not able to go for a send. It isn't really the most inviting corner to go for a send. And there we have the first drive-through, and it's for Hammerlund in P6, getting the first drive-through of the race. And that from a P6 position. Ooh, that's going to hurt quite a lot. And already serving it. Trying to get rid of it as soon as possible. As Kurtz not able to catch up with Weatherston after putting such a performance in the qualifying and also in the race with the fastest lap. After losing it after the first set of corners, hasn't gotten or hasn't been able to take it back, and Weatherston just kept on hammering. And with less than 5 minutes left to go, looks almost like a done deal. Cabros has fallen quite a lot behind. Now Schmidt and Freivogel are very close to one another, with Hammelin now also joining the fight, trying to make as many positions in the last couple of laps, which will prove difficult. But Cabras losing out on 2 spots, I believe. Over the last lap, also being a certain size or gap behind, making me wonder if there was a mistake. Another mistake here for Schmidt. As we go into the chicane. A bit of side-by-side contact, nothing much. But Freivogel now through to P10. And Schmidt being demoted to P11. But we're not, as Hamilton is there going for an optimistic move and nearly hitting the rear left quarter panel of that Ferrari. And that would have been a certain spin for Schmidt. As I think it is 2 laps to go. As the Mustang draws alongside, there's a little bit of contact. Schmidt trying to hang on and doing really well at defending that place. Hamlin behind, flashing, feeling that touch was unnecessary. I think Freivogel will continue racing. Brumming is racing after all. Mora on their own will just cruise these final 2 laps. No hurry or stress there. Cabras having an excellent point of view from the Ferrari and the Ford up ahead. Freivogel seemingly being let loose now after getting past the Ferrari. As the Mustang is now going for a move, but going in too deep, and Carabello will say, or Cabras I should say, sorry, Cabras will say see you later and will take the place. Last lap now, or maybe another lap will happen because the leader will go on to the final lap right now. There we have the leader, still Weatherston, now going on to the final lap. As there's a drive-through on the final lap for Freivogel. Freivogel, no, who just broken away, unnecessarily getting themselves a drive-through penalty. And they will have to serve that on this final lap, otherwise possibly the penalty will be bigger. Than what they would actually have if they did not go it for this lap. Schmidt actually has now also dropped back. Down to P13. Freivogel is staying out on circuit, so not taking the drive through this lap as they head on to the final lap now. But it will only be 2 more corners for the leader. Weatherston from nearly start to finish, holding that lead, taking that lead and securing the lead to take a very, very happy and pleasing P1 in round number 7. As Kurtz will finish in second place, probably less than he had hoped for. As Schmidt now with a penalty as well, so it would all come and fall down towards the end of the race. Morrow will finish on the podium in P3 with BX Royal finishing in P4. Then it will be Paris in a P5, and then I believe it is then Glyn who will take P6 and being the winner of silver class. Very, very well done. Zangari will finish in 7th place with Winters in 8th, and Eisen will finish in P9 and in 2nd place for silver class. Then Freivogel in 10th place with the penalty will be Cabras and Hamelund finishing ahead of them, with 30 seconds being added to the race time for both Black and Freivogel and Schmidt. As Glyn is celebrating with a win in class, very much deserved, as we are only waiting now for the final car to finish, and that would be Van Eyck, who comes across the line to finish out this race in P14. That was this race, everyone. So let's quickly get the replay and see what happened. I believe on the opening lap there were some shenanigans in the first 2 sectors. Definitely want to take a look at that. So let's see. First of all, we go to Hamelund, who was already very early on in the grass. I am curious to see what happened with them. So green lights now. Oh, they already got pushed out. I believe that would be the quickest contact, as there was also a bit of contact. Lexus going out wide. Oh, and there between Schmidt, I believe. And would it be Cabras? Yes, between Schmidt and Cabras, a little touch. Ooh, and I think that would be on Cabras. Let's see it from this angle. Yeah, going way too shallow over the curbs and then hitting Schmidt. I think that one will be on Cabras. Let's take a look further down. Anything more happening? Oh yeah, we had Turney as well. Off and in the dirt. So they just barely avoided that all, coming back on the circuit. Ooh, and just tagging the Porsche up ahead. Then rejoining the circuit. As further up the road, We had Popov, who had a little bit of a wide moment. And then as well, Bayliss also had an incident um, with Dundies. And that's a small tag that gets sent around very easily. So I think that was the opening lap. Don't think there was really much more to see. Let's see this from Dundies and Cabras. A small little overtake that we might have missed. Beautifully done by Cabras. Oh, and there we have someone else going very wide. That was Black. I believe we saw this one on the feed. Oh, and just too eager on the throttle. Getting on the escape road and rejoining the circuit that way. It's nothing major. Oh, there we have another incident. Between Mora and Oliver, I think. Oh, and that was a big slide from Mora. Big oversteer, and that sent both him and Oliver facing the wrong way. As they get underway again. So yeah, I hoped you all enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next week for the penultimate race of the Suzuka 100 minutes. So a longer race. Get your popcorn already inside of your home. Make sure you're nice and comfy for next week
Green light. Go, go, go.
because it will be a lot of fun. Until that time, see you all later. Bye bye.